One method which I quite like myself is raw edge applique. So you could cut the shape and just pop it onto your fabric, put a pin to hold it together and stitch around the edges. Being raw edge, it means that the edges can fray a little bit, but for certain things, that's the look that you want. You can do it by hand. You can do something that is called needle turn, and you turn the edges of the raw edges under your shape, and then you stitch with little, not running stitches, but little holding stitches, which you can't see. You can use a fusible web, like Bonder web, like Therma web, like Steam and Seam. There's a multitude of fusible webs out there, which are a double-sided adhesive, which doesn't become sticky until heat is used. So there's that way of doing it, and it stops fraying. Although you've got a raw edge, it does stop the fraying. Now this way, I'm going to do it tonight. I'm actually using interfacing. So you know the lightweight, I bet I haven't got a bit in front of me. Well, I've got a bit cut to shape. So interfacing is what we can use in dressmaking. It's a flimsy, papery interfacing, and it just stiffens collars, collars, front facings. It might be wristbands, anything, collars and cuffs, this sort of thing. And you can get them that are just the interfacing, or you can get them that are fusible. This one, if you can see, it's a little bit glossy. There we are. So that is your adhesive, dry adhesive, until we use the iron on it. So the iron would be on the opposite side, not the fusible side. Otherwise it will stick to your iron. And interfacings can come in 3 weights, if not 4 actually. They've got lightweight, medium weight, heavyweight, and sometimes you've got extra heavyweight. So like Pelmet Violin is the extra heavyweight, and that is thick and actually gives support to anything you're making. But I'm using H250, it's called. It is on the website, but I'm sure all of you have got H250. It's £3.50 a metre, so it's not an expensive interfacing, but it comes in for many uses apart from dressmaking. So I'm going to show you tonight how we're going to use this to get a beautiful edge. I'll show you one that I have done and stitched, but you get a lovely smooth edge, and it's not a raw edge. So that's what I'm going to show you to do. And there is the shape, orange peel, and I'm going to put a few together because you can make some lovely shapes with this when you put them. You know, there are plenty of ways of arranging them, but once you've got lots made up, you'll be able to see what you can do before you actually stitch them in place. So let's go down to the machine. Let's just pop this over here. And what we have, as you can see, there's my iron, all nice and ready. And here are my shapes. So I have got myself, I'm just going to do 4 tonight. Oh, and I've got 4 pieces there, which is good. So I've got 4 shapes. You need 1 for each of them. And then I have got, I have used some of the Always and Forever fabrics from the red selection. And all we need to do is take our shape. Seriously, it is really, really easy. And we're going to put them, when we say right sides together, the right side of the fabric goes down, goes upwards. And then you want your fusible side of your interfacing going down if you're using fusible. If you're not using fusible, it doesn't matter because it's the same on both sides. But if let me just find myself a pin or 2. I've used quite a lot of my pins, and I'm just going to put a pin at the top there. You could put one at the bottom as well. And we're just going to line those up exactly. And we're going to do that for all 4 pieces. So fusible side, I'm just having a look to see where that's my fusible side down, and you'll see the reason why in a moment, why I'm putting fusible side down. So let's just line that with that one. There's my fusible side. So right side of the fabric to the fusible side of the interfacing, and this one too. So fusible side down, and let's put a little pin in there. Okay, so I've got all my pieces with a little pin, and I am going to stitch a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around the edge, so both sides. And what I'm going to do, actually, because I'm doing 4 pieces, I'm going to chain a piece. And so now that I've got that near the needle, I'll take that out so that that can go underneath. And all I'm going to do is stitch down one side, and then I'm going to go on to the next one. So what I would say, 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I've also reduced my stitch length down to 1.8, because when we're stitching a curve, it is really good to use a short stitch length, and you get a far better curve when we come to finish. So let me just start. I'm going around here, all the way around. I'm keeping a steady speed, and I'm going to come off that end. And what I'm going to do is take my next one. I can take the pin out now, make sure those edges are aligned, and I'm going to put the next piece on. I don't know why we've got a little knocking sound. Usually, oh no, I've got that up. Usually it's when I have got my walking foot attachment on there. Probably telling me we need a new needle put in. So just a little reminder, have you changed your needle lately? I would say very naughtily, I probably need to I haven't changed mine for a couple of weeks. And saying that, I haven't been doing an enormous amount of sewing, but I should be changing my needle. So just a little reminder. So again, onto my 4th one there, and I'll take that pin out at the bottom and pull that round. So I'm lining that edge up perfectly. I say perfectly, and just moving around that curve, and we're coming off straight at the end like that. So I'll chop the thread because I've got 4 in a row, and now I'm going to start and go along the other side. So again, just make sure that's stitching. So around that curve, and what I'm doing to keep that nice and consistent is looking at the side of the foot and making sure that's just lined up with the edges of the fabric and the interfacing. And as you can hear, a nice steady speed off to there. Just make sure that's coming in nicely at that side. Where am I? Have we? No, there we go. And then onto this side here. And with this, if you do wiggle a bit, it's not crucial. You won't have spoiled anything because it hasn't got to fit towards anything. But having them all in a row, you can see how much quicker it is just to go down one side of all the pieces and then down the other side too. Okay, so once we have all those stitched, I'm going to trim them apart so that interfacing slip just a little bit, and there as well. So on the interfacing side and the interfacing only, what we're going to do is sort of push that apart or pull it apart. You see the fabric there, because what we want to do is we are going to, with the seam ripper, is we are going to pop the seam ripper purely into the interfacing. Okay, can you see that? So I've made a slit. I'm going to slit them all first of all. You don't need to go right from top to bottom, just to make a big enough hole for us to be able to turn them to the right side. So again, pop that in, make sure, see, it doesn't even, can you see how that is very crooked? And let's do one here. Whoops, a straight slit. You can do it with little scissors as well, but just make sure that you don't go through to the fabric. Oh, it's not liking that. There we are. There's another one. And here, just make sure. So I like to just lick my finger a little bit, just to grab hold and go in to that interface. I'm making it look difficult. Okay. So I've got my nice slit. What we can also do is just trim a little bit off the corner, off the points, just to make that a little bit smaller there. Oh, I've gone in a little bit there, I can see. So just trim those away so that we get a nice-ish point. Oh, that is very close there. I wonder if, yeah, no, we'll be all right. We'll be all right. I think I wasn't concentrating properly there, but just clip those little bits off, and then we can easily put our finger into the interfacing, push the fabric through. So you can do this in front of the telly so that you're ready for the next day. So we'll turn that through, and this one through too. Now, even though it's papery and fairly thin, it doesn't rip very easily. So, and even if it did rip a little bit more, you won't have ruined anything. It won't matter at all. But what you'll notice, because I put the fusible side of the interfacing onto the right side of the fabric, it means now the fusible side is here on the outside. So what that also means is, because when we've turned these through, we want them to look, well, a bit better than they do at the minute, because they're not particularly good, but we're going to push our seam ripper into the edges, at both points to start off with, and then we will just move our pokey tool, so use it carefully, around the edge. So I haven't even trimmed away any of the excess fabric around the edge. And I'm just moving that around just so that when we then turn it over, we've actually got a really nice smooth shape. And it will go even better when we do press it. So we're not going to press it first of all. You can roll those edges out if you would like. And because the interfacing is papery, it like creases it. Can you see how nice and smooth that is? So there we are. Let's just roll that out. And then that's ready for our next step. So we just need to do that with all four. And it's really not a big job. So one of the things I did give this a little play with a couple of weeks ago. So if that's not coming through, let's just get our, I just want to pull that out. That's the pointy bit. That's better. So we can actually, when we put these together, we can give an illusion of circles, which I will show you in a moment. I haven't actually finished it completely, but I've laid them out. Many times I've laid them out and then put them away and put them back again. But you could make a quilt. What I've done is a small centerpiece, table centerpiece, but the more you make, obviously the bigger your finished item will be. Now, these would be lovely for cushion covers, which wouldn't involve making too many. The other thing that you could do, which I'm not doing on this one, is you could do one of these per block. So like the one that I have finished off here, You could do these on blocks. This was about 5 inches square, I think. So you could put them onto charms and then join them all together. And obviously they will go in two different directions. That's right. They can go pointing that way or pointing that way. And so you could have one that way, one this way, and make a zigzag effect. Or, as I'm going to do, I'm going to put mine, a series of 4, into a circle. And that's where, when you have a lot of those going together, they actually create curves. Now, I know we've got a curve on the shape, but by putting 4 together in a certain way, they create what appears to be circles. So, as I say, this is easy enough on the flat just to run your pokey tool, or what else do we call it? We call it a bone folder. If you're a paper crafter, you've probably got those in your stash as well, and they work really, really well. So having rolled those out, if you do want to press it a little bit more, use the edge of your bone folder like this. There we are. So like a paper creaser, and just flatten it out around the edges, or a seam roller, and you've got a lovely, neat shape easily, really, really easily. So with those 4, now the other thing you could do, which, because this is nice and lightweight, I haven't bothered to do, you could trim it away. You could actually trim it even closer to the edges. And then this side here will be fusible. So let's just move over. Let's put the iron on. Right, my iron is on there. And I'm going to just move over to my messy table here. And I've got myself a square of fabric. Now, a good idea is to, if you want it centered, is to fold just to give us a center point. Oh, it's not. So I've put a little bit of wadding underneath, a little bit of fusible fleece just to give it body. And then I am going to, because I can always trim this square back, we're going to put all of these together. I should have really chosen another. Oh no, they go quite well. So all I'm looking at is placing that. I'm looking at that being the same distance from there to there, and also top and bottom. So I'll bring that down just a little bit. Okay. And we can pin these in place if we want, or not, as the case may be. Now, doesn't that look pretty? Okay, so I've got those where they want. Now, the other thing that you could use, because the other ones that I have already placed together, I actually used a cotton, just a lightweight cotton fabric, and used that rather than interfacing. That way there are no, could I put 2 of them on a background square? Yes, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put all 4 on the background square. If you have got fabric on the back of if you use fabric rather than interfacing, it won't stick, which is what my other one doesn't stick. But what you could use, and I don't sell it, but it is on Amazon, and I think it is really worth it. It is Roxanne. I don't know if you've used it before, Roxanne glue. And it has got the finest, there we are, the finest nozzle for putting little bits of glue. Now, a lot of American ladies actually use this when they're doing the binding on their quilts. And they use this, they turn their binding over, and rather than what I do, I turn it as I go and stitch. They like to put some glue on under their binding so it's flattened in place before they stitch. But I've used little dobs of this underneath where I've used fabric just to hold it in place. And the other great thing, they give you 2 of the nozzles, but you need to clear it out every time. So there's a nice little fine plastic bit that you push down the nozzle, and it keeps your So I can feel that that's pushing already. So it's not blocked up, because the last thing you want it to do is block up. It's not cheap, I must admit, but none of my suppliers have it, but it's called Roxanne. Can you see under there? Whoops, no, this way. Roxanne glue based it. I think it was 12 or 13 pounds, something like that. So plenty, but it is very good. So what I'm going to do now, get that little bit out of the way, just make sure I'm going to press one in place. So with my hot iron, I can now just press that down. So I'm pressing at the same time as fusing. So the first thing we did was, and it is going through fabric as well. Right, so I've got that one in place. I'm looking at the distance here and here, and now I'm going to place this one. But the heat from the iron is going to fuse these onto the background so that, there we are, I don't need to use any glue. Can you see? Right, I'm going to move the mat around so that I don't have to shift it. And then I'm just making that point meet to that point. Just make sure that is good there. And then again, the heat from the iron is melting the adhesive on the back of the interfacing and holding those in place. Okay. And then we'll just do this last one here. So this is why I say don't press before. Otherwise, whatever you're pressing onto, say your ironing board, is going to stick to your ironing board. There we are. So now they are all, oops, there we are. Now they are all beautifully in place. See, they're not coming off. They're nicely stuck. Okay, they won't be permanently. Look, that one's up a little bit, but it's holding that nicely. Might be little bits here, but you've got a lot of that. And also, apart from the fact I've got fusible fleece under there, it's not stiff. So when you're using fusible web, like your Bonder web, your thermal web, your steamer seam, sometimes, depending on the weight of the fusible web, these can become a bit thick. But if I hadn't got the fleecer on the back of this, that would still be nice and, soft, as if you hadn't used any interfacing on there at all. Okay, Pippa. Oh, blimey. Oh, we're talking about the needles now. Yes. So, what we would do from there is just stitch around, which, I'll come and stitch, one or two of them, but I've used, as you can see, a blanket stitch around there. Now, you could just use a straight stitch, not a problem at all. You could even use a blind hemming stitch. So a blind hemming stitch, the running stitch runs around the edge and then it does a little zigzag. So one in and out at an angle and then around a bit more straight stitching and then a little zig into the fabric and then it's round the edge with a running stitch. So that is another way. I have done that before on many of my earlier projects, sort of 25 years ago. I used to do it a lot that way. So while it's here, I was just going to show you the other one, which I have just laid out and pinned. So I'll just bring that in here. So this one, as you can see, is floppy. And what I've done here is I used just a fabric, just a cotton fabric, and then slit it just like I did the interfacing. But then I trimmed away. You'll see on all of these, I've trimmed away excess fabric. So there's only sort of 1/2 inch around that edge, but it gives me that nice, perfect curve, nice and smooth. And I will finish this off another day, but I've just laid them out in a row. And as you see, it makes it look as if they're circles when we put 4 together like that. Now, of course, you could, if you wanted to, like this section here, where I think I have got one. Yes, I have got one. I thought I got a few more. Oh, I have got a few more extra pieces here. So let's just have a look. What you could do, looking at these here, if you wanted to put them into a flower shape. Now, obviously, these aren't made into, but you could put 8 into and make it into a flower, imagining these, so that you've got a petal shape. Forget about these ones at the edge here, but we could have 8, or you could lay it out so there was just 6 in a circle, and these would fit a little better together because there's not much space in between there, or they can overlap. But there's many ways of doing things here, or as I say, you can do lines or rows of zigzags so they go up and down, and it's just a lovely shape and really easy, easy on the eye for when you're stitching. Okay, so if we go back to, just take that one out of the way, we'll go back to the machine and take this over here, and we can see, I might, in fact, this time, I might just do, I do like the blanket stitch, so I must admit, if you've got a blanket stitch on your machine, it just, I don't know, it just makes it that much. I like it. I really, really like it. So let's just see. I'm going to make that a little bit longer there and a little bit further apart. So I do like to test out first of all. Oh, I've got a bit of a zip there. That's all right. Let's just see how... I test out the size of the the blanket stitch. So having practiced that one there, I do think I want my legs a little bit longer. Oh no, that's down. No, I want it longer, don't I? That's it. Oh, not too long. Right, oh, I've got another little bit here. Let's give this a go, see how... Whoops. Don't want to sew on the zip, obviously. Right, oh, that's a bit better. Yes, I like that. So, if you can alter the length and the width, if you alter on a blanket stitch, if you alter the width, it means the legs will go longer. If you alter the length, it means they will be further apart. So this straight stitch here is all to do with the length. The legs are all to do with the width. So I've altered those up, and I've got them at 3.4 for my legs, and my stitch length is 2.8 in between. So all I'm going to do with this is I am going to start on the edge here. And let's just make, so I'm starting right at the corner, and I am using, that's it, that's going the right way. I am using the, see if I can get it even closer for you, just so that you can see there. So I'm using the edge of this. You want the straight stitch to go off the fabric so that it's onto the background fabric, and you want your legs to go onto, let's move that even further there. The legs go onto the, that's it. So, whoops, we went off a little bit there. And I'm just going to go round. So it's a nice slow process. Or you don't want to be going too fast, because you want to watch that the straight stitches are going on the cream fabric background and not onto your red fabric there. So when we get down, I'm watching what the needle is doing. Whoops, I'll keep going onto it actually. What the needle is doing, it's going one stitch, that's it. So it's going forwards to the left, back to the right, forwards to the left, to the right, forwards to the left, to the right. So forwards. So I've just come off at that point, and now it's going to go to the left and the right. So if I turn it around, it's going to go to the left. So it's just going to go onto my background fabric, and that's it, and back there. And then we can start coming around on the other curve. So I'm watching that as it goes. Can you see how I'm trying to keep that straight stitch at the edge, on the edge of the fabric, not onto the red. There we are, so that's going round. And once I've done round this one, I'll just go round, because I am in the position now. Right, so we're coming around here, coming up to the point, and I just make sure, that's it, so one, and then to the left and to the right, and stop. And that's where I shall cut the thread. Actually, I could have left it to go on to the next one. So then I can start just here. Oops, no, we haven't cut our thread. So let's just trim that thread there. So I can start again now and go down this side here. So let's just get that long thread out of the way. And I've got the needle so that it's on this edge of the, so on the background. That's it. And over. And then that's coming forwards. So as I say, when it comes to the right, it does a running stitch down the side, and then it goes to the left and to the right. So if a curve is more steep than this, you could then lift up the presser foot so that you can move that around. But it's quite a shallow curve, and I think there's enough time to actually move the fabric under the needle, move it around just a little bit, and still get that good finish, and your stitching to go in exactly the right place without stitching onto our fabric. So I'm coming down to this point again, and once the needle is at the right, so we're coming down one, so here, one, and over to the left, to the right. I can go one more because there's fabric, so to the left, to the right, sorry, to the left and to the right. Now I'm going to spin it because I know it's going to the left. No, it's going forwards, to the left and the right. So that's fine, as long as it's not going to the right at that point. We just want it to be going back onto the fabric. And the more you do a blanket stitch like this, and the more you look at what the needle is doing, so forwards, left, right, and then just think before you turn your fabric to know that the next stitch is going in the right place. Okay, so we're coming down to this one. And as I say, you can see how quickly. Right, so we're back down here. So left, right, and one more, that's right. So I'm on the background, to the left and to the right, and cut. So you can see there how neat it looks, just because we're watching exactly where it goes. So we can just trim that little bit off. What's Nikki on an alternative? Yes, it would look fantastic. So if you had a smaller size of this shape around the edge of a quilt, would look absolutely lovely. But this shaping, it is just really, really attractive, really pretty. So let's just come up a little bit more from that. So I've got all of that brown one to do that I showed you earlier, and I don't mind doing running stitches all the way around the edge, but it's just that the blanket stitch really just had added that additional. I mean, there are other stitches. You could do a zigzag stitch around there. You could do satin stitch, which is just a zigzag that's very close together. You could do that. That would also look beautiful. You could do the stitch color. You could go to contrast, or rather no, to coordinate with it so that you can hardly see it. But it's one of those stitches that I think if you're doing a decorative stitch, such as a blanket stitch, why not show what you're doing? When you've gone to the effort of doing that, let people see it. Whereas if you're doing a straight stitch, you could have it coordinating so that the colour perhaps sinks into that and it doesn't look as if there's any stitching on there anyway. Okay, so let's just come up so that we're back in the land of the living. And let's have a look. For a Christmas table runner would look absolutely lovely, I'm sure. and no work to get in the way. Yes. Wouldn't it just look absolutely lovely? But Christmas is a long way off. It is really. Could you put 2 of them on a background square? Well, yes, Nikki, we have put 4 of them, and we've got that cathedral window effect, haven't we? Oh, there's Jill and John. Hello. Hope you're well. So, oh, Margot's changed her needle today. Sue loves doing the orange peel shape. Lovely. And there's Yvonne. Hello, Yvonne. Yeah. Like putting the world to right. Yes, yes, we're going back there. I think I said hello to Beverly, didn't I? Yes, we did. Okay, you've obviously all been concentrating. Oh, Tony's nodded off. I was going to say there's very few comments after as I was talking all the way. So you've obviously been concentrating, and also your minds have been going that little bit farther, to thinking, what am I going to use this for? What should I do? And like Nikki's saying, around the edge of a quilt would look beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Now, tomorrow, I've got a date night. I'm going out. So I will put a rerun of an older video tutorial, which I have YouTubed, but I'll put it onto the So Totally Trisha page, so that you can watch from there. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I will probably put it on about 6 o'clock. So if you get a chance to have a quick peek, during the evening, absolutely fine. Or you can wait until, well, whenever. And then, of course, tomorrow is the 30th. It means that Saturday is the 31st of January, which is the last day of January. So for all you So with Trisha members, there will be the giveaway. Now, please remember, I mean, I've said it on here now, and that for the whole public, if you get an email saying that you've won and to give some details, it's not from me. I will not be sending emails out until I've picked the winner, and you will know who that winner is. So please, if you get an email, ignore it, delete it, or send me an email to ask if it's true. Does Martin know? What's that? Can't remember what I said. Oh, yes, yes, the date night. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. I don't know. So, I don't go out that often. I'm a bit of a home bird, but he's wooed me. So that's, I'm calling it a date night. It's just popping out, you know. Anyhow, it should be right. Thank you, Jeeta. Thank you, Patricia. Where did January go? So yes, that's what we will be doing on Saturday. It will be at 6 o'clock though. I'll do it a little bit earlier because it's the weekend. 6 o'clock on Saturday. And then, of course, beginning of February, Sunday, the 1st of February. But the first bag of the month for the Sew with Trisha group will be on the Tuesday. So I'm going to get cracking with that over the weekend. So all I can say now is thank you so much for joining with me. It has been really lovely to have your company this evening. Please enjoy the rest of it and the weekend. Perhaps see you, I won't see you tomorrow, but I'll see you on Saturday if you're around. If not, I'll see you the following Tuesday. So take care of yourselves and have a great time. Bye for now.